The tongue in the book of Proverbs. So, as I said before, I've been studying out the book of Proverbs, which is one of my favorite books. And in the book of Proverbs, I've been studying it out topic by topic, but one of the major topics is the use of the tongue and the use of our mouths. Now, this is going to be a challenging lesson. I'm telling you that right now. So I just really pray that we can all think of ourselves with sober judgment, not get, overly concerned. I'm trying to make this picture smaller. Here we go. That we think of ourselves with sober judgment. Some of these things will be something that is an issue for you, and some of these things will not be. And it's important that you think of yourselves with sober judgment, as it says in the Bible. It is definitely a lesson for me as much as for anyone else. Right. So, in the book of Proverbs, we have about 915 verses in the entire book of Proverbs, right? But out of those verses, about 163 of them are about the tongue. That is 17.8%, or nearly 1/5 of the entire book of Proverbs. Okay, that's a lot. And that's with me separating out the scriptures on discipline and advice, because I studied them separately. So in the book of Proverbs, this is one of the biggest topics, and this is why. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit. What we do with our tongues is actually a matter of life and death, believe it or not. We can bring life or death. What comes out of our mouths is not something to be considered lightly. With his mouth, the godless man destroys his neighbor, but through knowledge, the righteous will be delivered. You can actually destroy somebody with the things you say. The words of the wicked lie in wait for blood, but the mouth of the upright will deliver them. You can also rescue somebody with the things you say. By the blessing of the upright, a city is exalted, but by the mouth of the wicked, it is torn down. You can exalt or destroy a city with the things that you say. In the mouth of the foolish is a rod for his back, but the lips of the wise will protect them. A fool's mouth is his ruin, and his lips are the snare of his soul. Are your lips going to protect you, or are your lips going to destroy you? You will reap what you sow with your mouth. With the fruit of a man's mouth, his stomach will be satisfied. He will be satisfied with the product of his lips. For good or bad, you will reap what you sow with your mouth. So it's desperately important that we learn how to use our mouths in a godly way. So tonight we're going to start with how much we use our mouths. Point 1, words, many versus few. And this scripture is really our key scripture for tonight. When there are many words, sin is unavoidable. But the one who controls his lips is wise. Proverbs 10, verse 19. When words are many, you will sin. You cannot actually avoid sinning when you talk too much. You might sin by what you say. Perhaps you share something you shouldn't, or maybe you say something that's not true. You might sin in the way you say it, like doing it in a hurtful way or an unloving way, or without enough conviction. You could sin by taking up somebody else's time. Like if we're in a group setting and you talk too much when it's time for people to share their insights. If you talk so much that you're taking away other people's time so that they don't get their fair share of the time, it's a form of stealing. You're taking away their opportunity to share. And that's really very selfish. Another issue is that when you're talking, you can't listen. The wise of heart will receive commands, but a babbling fool will be ruined. That's Proverbs 10, verse 8. If you're babbling, you can't hear, you can't receive commands. People can't help you if you're talking too much. I'm thinking about my pupils. I am a secondary school teacher, and sometimes they will not stop talking. And guess what? When they won't stop talking, they don't know what the instructions are. They don't know what to do. Okay, we think about schools and school kids doing that, but do we sometimes do that as adults? That we're talking so much that we're not really listening? A fool does not delight in understanding, but only in revealing his own mind. What is your motivation for saying what you're saying? If you're sharing, are you sharing with a desire to grow and learn? Or are you just using the opportunity as a platform to just spill your guts? You don't have to say everything you think. Suck that one in. You don't have to say everything you think. I sometimes feel like I do, but I don't. I do not need to say everything I think. Social media. Right now, we are all so dependent on social media because it is the only way that we get in touch with each other. And thank the Lord that we have Zoom and other ways of contacting each other over social media. But social media can be very dangerous. It's giving everybody a microphone. Now, we all want to be heard. We've heard that before. But is it actually that good for us? For everybody to hear everything we're thinking? And also, do we actually have the right to fill up everyone else's news feed or everyone else's WhatsApp group with all of our thoughts and opinions and drivel and what we did last night and how my big toe is a bit itchy today and I bumped my elbow? You know, I actually barely go on Facebook anymore because it's full of rubbish I'm not interested in, you know? In biblical times, the tongue was the main way of communicating. Most people couldn't read or write. Paper didn't even exist. Papyrus, was expensive. Nowadays, we actually text or WhatsApp or email each other more than we even speak to each other. My phone rang the other day, and it took me a minute to realize what it was because it's been so long since I've heard that ringtone. Because we do all our communication in written form using various forms of social media. So all of these principles about the tongue, they apply to all of our communication, including texts and emails and all these social media forms. So when you post something or email something or text something, are you considering your motivations? Will it really benefit the people who will read it? Or are you just posting it for your own sake? Are you just getting something off your chest? If you want to get something off your chest, guess who wants to hear it? The Lord wants to hear it. God can listen to you as much as you want or need. If you just want to pour everything off your chest, don't use social media, use the Lord. Another thing, in our Western culture, we fear what we call awkward silences. We think we have to fill them. We think we have to have answers to everything. And we also think we have to have an opinion or give an opinion, especially if everyone else is giving an opinion. But what does the Bible say? The one who guards his mouth preserves his life. The one who opens wide his lips comes to ruin. Sometimes it's better not to speak. The Japanese attitude, silence is golden, is actually more biblical than ours. And then there are some situations where it's especially valuable not to speak. In chapter 11, verse 12, it says, "He who despises his neighbor lacks sense, but a man of understanding keeps silent. You know, I'm quite a prideful person. And in my pride, I'll often look at someone else and think, what are they doing? What an idiot. Maybe it's my actual literal neighbor. Maybe it's somebody who voted for a certain politician. Maybe it's a certain politician. Jesus made clear to us that everybody is our neighbor. So should I be sharing how much I despise that politician or that neighbor on social media or anywhere else? Should I be, when I share how stupid that other person is, it can make me feel superior. It can make me look like I'm smart enough to judge. And that's one reason it's tempting. But the woman of understanding keeps silent. Chapter 17, 27 to 28, he who restrains his words has knowledge. He who has a cool spirit is a man of understanding. Oh, and I like this one. Even a fool, when he keeps silent, is considered wise. When he closes his lips, he is considered prudent. So, who here has ever, oh wait, sorry, go back. Do you want to look smart? Stay silent. Because what you wanted to say might actually make you look like a fool. He who guards his mouth and his tongue guards his soul from troubles. Right. Who here has ever said anything that got you into trouble? Raise your hands. Right. Everyone I can see, their hands are up. Yeah, I expect you're all raising your hands. Whoever said anything you regretted saying? Yeah. So with me, it's especially to my kids. I will say things to them, especially when I'm frustrated, that are hurtful or unfair, or I'll go on and on and on and frustrate them, which breaks Ephesians 6:4, where it says not to exasperate your children. Or I'll say things in front of them that I shouldn't say in front of them. And afterwards, I feel really guilty. Often with words, less is more. Now, some of you might listen to all this and say, oh no, I'm just never going to speak again. I'm just going to stop talking. It's too dangerous. But no. Remember, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit. Proverbs 18:21 again. Your tongue can give life, and God wants you to use it in a godly way. So the answer is not total silence. The answer is wisdom in what to say, also known as discretion and discernment. Now, we all know this scripture. Like a gold ring in a pig's snout is a beautiful woman without discretion. Proverbs 11, verse 22. We all know this one. You wouldn't want a gold ring if it had been in a pig's snout. That's gross. I mean, this just looks gross to me. Sorry. I love pigs, animals in general, but I'm sorry, that just looks gross. I don't want that ring. I don't care if it's solid gold. Likewise, you wouldn't want a friend or a wife who has no judgment in what she says, because she's very likely to hurt you or just drive you crazy. So we want discretion. What is discretion? There are two main definitions of discretion. So for the first, the Oxford Dictionary says, the quality of behaving or speaking in such a way as to avoid causing offense or revealing confidential information. The Cambridge Dictionary puts it, the ability to behave without causing embarrassment or attracting too much attention, especially by keeping information secret. So notice the focus in these definitions is on two things. This is, by the way, the first definition of discretion. We're going to get along to a second one. But the focus is on two things. First of all, the effect on other people. And second of all, confidentiality. whether or not the information should be revealed at all. So on the first part, the effect on other people, before you say something, think about this. Who is going to hear or read this? And how will it affect them specifically? Perhaps there's nothing sinful about the words themselves, but they may cause your audience to struggle or to feel embarrassed. For example, Elijah, my son, desperately wants a pet. He keeps going on about it. He's not getting a pet. And on Sunday, we were having a Zoom call with my parents and my brother in the States. And my brother has just bought his kids a dog. A beautiful, big, fluffy white dog. Now, they were actually on their way to get it when we were Zooming with us. And I mean, they need to inform us of these things. This is normal. But poor Elijah, who was so jealous. And then his cousin Dominic had put together a PowerPoint all about the dog with tons of pictures of the dog. And he insisted on screen sharing and going on and on and on about the dog. And poor Elijah was like, I want a pet. And you know what? Children don't have this kind of discretion. That's perfectly normal. But as adults, we do need to think about being sensitive to others. Since then, my mom has written me 2 emails about the dog. I am not telling Elijah that my mom has written me 2 emails about the dog. I'm not going to say anything because I don't want the poor kid to struggle with jealousy. Another question to ask, am I saying this to get attention? Am I saying it to look smart? Am I saying it to appear involved? Motivation is so important. Then we get to the confidentiality one, right? He who goes about as a talebearer reveals secrets, but he who is trustworthy conceals a matter. There are times not to tell stuff. 12:23, a prudent man conceals knowledge, but the heart of fools proclaims folly. 17:9, he who conceals a transgression seeks love, but he who repeats a matter separates intimate friends. We know gossip is wrong, but it is hard to avoid. Are you revealing someone else's sin? There are times when we have to do that, but only if we're following a biblical principle. What would the person whose information it is feel about you sharing it in this context? And how would it affect their relationship to the person? Today, I had to talk to a couple of people a couple of colleagues about a colleague who frankly this week has been driving me up the wall. And the 2 colleagues I spoke to, they both get along with this colleague. And it's a good thing I knew that because I was tempted to just like go on about how he's driving me nuts with his sin, frankly. But because I knew they got on with him, and I didn't want to separate them in their friendship, and I also didn't want to sin in the sense of repeating transgressions. I did need to get their advice on how to deal with him, but I had to choose my words very carefully and be respectful as I could. They could see I was struggling. Oops. Okay, argue your case with your neighbor. Chapter 25, 9-10. And do not reveal the secret of another, or he who hears it will reproach you, and the evil report about you will not pass away. Do you want to be known as someone who can't keep a secret? Sisters, this actually happens quite often in our church. We can hear something and we can kind of assume that we can go and tell other people, right? I'm very glad Heather's here tonight because I hadn't got a chance to ask her whether or not I can tell everybody that she's moving here. But she's told everyone herself, so it's all good. But sometimes these things are not yet ready to be shared, and you've been privileged to hear it. Check before you pass some information on. Check with the person who told you whether or not it's okay to pass it on, even to someone who you're very close to. Be trustworthy. Now, the second definition of discretion is actually the freedom to decide what should be done in a particular situation. Like, you can do this at your own discretion. Also express the choice or the right to make a choice based on judgment or according to what seems most suitable in a particular situation. Discretion is actually a form of freedom. It means you're not being controlled in your decision by your unruly tongue or your roller coaster emotions or your sinful nature. Discretion means you are free to choose what you know will be a good thing to say, whether or not to say anything. Because you're free to also be silent. And you're free to guard your soul from the troubles of saying the wrong thing. So choose in your speech to be the kind of woman you really want to be, a godly, wise, considerate, sensitive, selfless, compassionate woman. A man's discretion makes him slow to anger, and it is his glory to overlook a transgression. Anger is a trap. It damages our relationships and makes us say what we regret. If we have discretion, we think first before we speak, and then reason can take over. And then the emotions subside, and as they are replaced by the fruits of the Spirit, like peace, self-control, kindness, then we're able to forgive and overlook the sins of others. And that is glorious, because holding a grudge is also a trap. We are free from our anger and bitterness and free to love others. Right, now, what is discernment? Very close to discretion. It's the ability to judge people and things well. Now, sometimes we might feel, oh, thank you, that's all very nice, you saying all that, but I don't actually know what the right thing is to say. I don't have this ability to judge well. Well, you may not, but God's word does. And you can study it to learn. And God's Spirit does, and God's Spirit dwells in you. And God's Spirit, He wants to teach you. So how do you gain wisdom? Like Solomon, you ask for it, seek it, read the Bible, pray, look at examples. With these definitions and questions in mind, let's look at a couple more scriptures. In Proverbs 5:1-3, it says, "My son, give attention to my wisdom. Incline your ear to my understanding, that you may observe discretion, and your lips may reserve knowledge. For the lips of an adulteress drip honey, and smoother than oil in her is her speech." Sometimes the wrong path sounds so smooth and sounds so good, but it's wrong. How do you know? Listen to wisdom. Incline your ear to understanding. Who is speaking here? It's a father speaking. Someone who's more experienced. Someone who's more mature. We can ask someone who's more mature in the faith and has more wisdom, and also perhaps knows scriptures that will help us. In chapter 10:13-14, "On the lips of the discerning wisdom is found, but a rod is for the back of him who lacks understanding. And wise men store up knowledge, but with the mouth of the foolish, ruin is at hand." If you know somebody who is discerning, learn from them. On the lips of the discerning, you will find the wisdom. Note here that a discerning person is teaching wisdom. So the discerning person isn't not saying anything. They're teaching wisdom. Okay? They're not silent. Now, I know all this is a lot, and I don't want you to go for another month thinking, I don't know what to say, or I better just not say anything. I want you to think more about, I'm going to leave you with some thoughts about using your mouth in a positive way. So here are some scriptures from Proverbs on righteous speech. In chapter 10:20-21, it says, "The tongue of the righteous is as choice silver. The heart of the wicked is worth little. The lips of the righteous feed many, but fools die for lack of understanding." Fools die without wisdom and understanding. So share your wisdom. Whom can you feed? Who needs understanding? Your wisdom is precious. Share the wisdom you have. Righteous lips are the delight of kings, and he who speaks right is love. Speak righteous things. Those who love God and who love what is good will be grateful. You can't always please the ones who don't love God, but you're not trying to. You shouldn't be anyways. We shouldn't be. There is gold and an abundance of jewels, but the lips of knowledge are a more precious thing. If you have some good, helpful knowledge, then share it. It is precious. Better is open rebuke than love that is concealed. Sometimes we need to be challenged or rebuked, and that's better than concealed love. Sisters, if you see sin in another disciple's life, God has revealed it to you so that you can help that person. We must not hold back from addressing things in each other, and we must allow each other to address things and realize that that is true love. The mouth of the righteous flows with wisdom, but the perverted tongue will be cut out. The lips of the righteous bring forth what is acceptable, but the mouth of the wicked what is perverted. If your heart is righteous, you will speak wisdom and acceptable things. Bring your heart before God and seek his righteousness before you open your mouth, and God will bring goodness from it. That is the end. I hope that that was helpful and that we can have some interesting chat about it.